you are watching the SciART Livestream. That's some people creating interesting art,
Mhm.
and I am here with Jen, as well as special guest Kelly Stanford, which I'll get to in
Hi.
just a moment.
Mhm.
But if you're wondering what an art stream is, it's sort of like a podcast, which everyone seems to love nowadays, except better because you actually get to watch artists making their art live. You can watch us work on creative projects while we discuss interesting topics about science, art, or whatever else. And you can also participate in the conversation. Right today, we are on YouTube, which hopefully you are seeing if you're here. And you can participate in the conversation just by joining in the chat. So this is the first time we're on YouTube, so hopefully this will all work out okay first time. We will see. But I encourage people to try and use the chat, and then we'll know whether it works or not. If you want to see the archived recordings or upcoming schedule, we have all of that over on my website. So you can go to gaiusjaugustus.com/SciArt-livestream to see everything that's coming up, as well as past live streams. So again, hopefully you know, since you're on my feed, I'm Gaius Augustus. I'm a visual storyteller, multimedia communicator. Today, I'm going to continue working on what I've been working on the last few times. It's a comic about my trans experience and how that experience has informed my thoughts on science. And as I mentioned before, I'm joined by two amazing people who I'm going to let introduce themselves. And first, as always, I have my co-host Jen.
Yeah.
Jen, do you want to reintroduce yourself and let everyone know what you're working on today?
Hi, I'm Jen Lab. I am a postdoc at a university in California, and I am an artist enthusiast. Today I'm working on a plan for a potential grant. My boss always says that he always has a cartoon in his head, and that's how he structures his papers. I'm trying to take that and actually draw out those cartoons so then I can structure my whole plan. And that's what I'll be working on. So we have our guest, Kelly. Why
Hi.
don't you introduce yourself and take it away?
Okay. I'm Kelly Stanford, a science communicator and illustrator from Manchester in the UK. So I use my art to communicate scientific subjects to the masses. So some of the ways I do that is by creating public art sculptures themed around certain scientific topics. One of the ones I did was the STEM Bee last year in Manchester, which was outside Manchester Oxford Road Station. It's very similar to the bee that I'm working on now, but this one is more tended around Manchester culture and like pop culture and stuff like that. And I also do workshops at schools which embody science and art together. And I also do like various illustrations for card games, like educational card games, educational books, and various other illustration projects as well.
Awesome.
So it's been really cool to see all the different styles of art that you do, Kelly. I think I first came across you when you were doing the Pusheen, the first set or second set
Oh
probably
yeah, yeah.
images. So can you just about just that, like how do you come up with that idea? What was the inspiration for doing that?
Well, I'm a huge Pusheen fan, as you can probably tell. And I was just like looking, I was thinking, there's so many different Pusheens, but there's nothing towards like the STEM area. I thought, well, that'd be a brilliant thing to do because like it's more aimed at like women, and obviously there's a massive push to get more women in STEM. So I thought, right, I'm gonna try illustrating some of these for fun because it's just mainly for fun at the start. And then I was like, hey, people actually like this. I'll carry on with it. So now I release it every other week, like a set of like 3 or 4, basically pushing being different, basically STEM like researchers or scientists doing stuff in the field. And I also do like various special ones like the sea slugs. I'm actually working on like different bees you can find in your back garden, but as pushings. So it's mainly about Yeah, it's mainly about getting like these like STEM subjects in other places where you would normally not see them. So I've had many messages on Twitter of people being like, "Yeah, I've printed these off for my kids. I put these up in my classroom because they're really cute and interesting to put up in the science room or in the hallway." I'm also working on some learning material based on these illustrations as well that people can download for free and use to whatever extent they want.
That's fantastic. I think that's
Awesome.
really, really cool. And so it sounds like you just kind of liked something and you decided to kind of just create it and go for it. Do you find that that's how you handle creating your art a lot?
Yeah, I'll mainly just like see something and like the idea will just come to me. Like I'll be like, yeah, I want to do this, and then I try it, and then if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, I just move on to the next subject, or I'll try like and make it even better and see if it works then.
Yeah, I tend to get a lot of my ideas like when I'm asleep. So like in dreams and stuff.
Oh, really? That's weird.
It is weird. Yeah, people tell me it's weird because I don't dream about myself. I dream about like stories and things, and so a lot of times I actually get better ideas when I'm asleep than I ever get when I'm awake. It's very interesting. It's kind of strange.
It's funny you mentioned that because I used to have a boss who said he got his best ideas for his grants when he was asleep. So,
That's hilarious.
yeah, I know, right?
That's very specific.
I
Was
know.
that for like research
Nope,
ideas?
just for grants, and then so he loves falling asleep.
Very interesting. And did you may not know this, but was it like that he was thinking about the grants before he went to bed, and then he got the
I'm
idea?
I'm sure it was like on the back of his mind,
I'm sure.
as always.
Yeah, for me, it's not really the back of my mind. Like I don't go to bed really thinking about it, but then I'll just have some crazy dream that has a really nice story to it,
Mm.
um, or imagery that pictures something in a way that I had never really thought of before. And then I wake up and I'm like, this is really cool. I should do something with it.
Mm. It's good that you like to remember them.
Yeah, sometimes you have to write them down really fast because it fades very fast.
Mm.
What about you, Jen? Like, what's your biggest source of inspiration?
Source of inspiration, eh? Wow. uh,
Am I too funny for that question?
no, no, no. I mean, sometimes it's just like, I like to go on walks a lot when I take breaks and walk around the university, and sometimes I just like observe. I like to people watch sometimes, and I get my greatest source of inspiration from there. It's just like because at the heart I am a behavioral neuroscientist, so I like to observe behaviors and be like, so what's the purpose like that is mitigating that behavior, or I wonder what's going on in her brain while they're doing that. So kind of bizarre.
When I was in high school, I was always like creating stories,
Mm.
and that was usually how I started. Was like I saw something or like thought about something and was like, I wonder how this would go or how different people would handle this situation, and I would kind of just play these games,
Mm-hmm.
like these writing games, and just say, okay, let's make up a different person from a different background, and let's
Right.
figure out how they would handle this situation.
Right. Like,
Which, of course, I was also a teenager, so I had no idea what I was doing.
yeah,
So it's okay.
weren't we all? Ah, so
And Kelly, can you tell us? So, was there an inspiration for the piece you're working on today, or was this just a commission, or did someone see you? Because you talked about multiple ones of these, right?
Yeah, so like as I mentioned, I did STEM B last year, and I was kind of already known for doing that. So this sculpture was, well, the blank sculpture was made by the same people. And Manchester Life, which is like this property developer, like saw what I did last year, and obviously because they had acquired their own bee, they were like, right, we want her to do our bee. So they're like, right, can you like just bring, like design a quick concept design, just send it over, and we'll see if we're interested or not in it. But I mean, luckily they all loved it. So they're like, yeah, can you please like paint this, and we can just like drop it off in your apartment, and you can just work on it. I was like, okay. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, how did they give you a prompt? What was the information that they wrote a brief that how they wanted it painted?
They just basically said they wanted something to like encapsulate Manchester pop culture, like the city, and they wanted something bright. So like these bright legs and stuff that you see with the black stripes going across are inspired by the Hacienda nightclub, which was this famous nightclub where like New Order and stuff played. And that you've obviously got all the famous places from Manchester illustrated on there. By the way, this took fucking ages to do to get these looking right. Like getting the likeness was so hard. So I wanted it to be like strictly black and white, but like visual effect. But it's so hard getting all the little details and stuff properly to make it look like the person. So I've done this on both sides. I can't show you the other side because this is actually on a couch and it's very heavy. But yeah, I've got some female people of interest from Manchester's history as well on the other side, along with Alan Turing. And, oh no, Alan Turing's this side. Who did I put the other side now? Oh, I forget. I think it was Ian Brown on the other side, who's from the Stone Roses.
Well, it's gorgeous. I really like how it's coming along. I'm a color person, so I love like just all the different colors that are in it and how you're using the stripe pattern to.
Yeah.
It's actually distracting me from working on my.
Yeah. It's also going to glow in the dark as well.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You sold me.
Yeah.
That's all I need anything is that it goes in.
Yeah.
Now we gotta see it in person, right?
I have to fly there and see it in person.
No.
I think it's going to be in
All right.
Salford.
Someone find our script.
Did they decide it was going to glow in the dark?
No, I was like, no, this is going to glow in the dark. And they're like, yeah, we love that idea. So, yeah, I've got this big can of glow in the dark paint sitting over there that I'm going to put all the details across. I think I'm going to make the Manchester bee that's on the wings glow in the dark as well. So it'll be like completely different sculpture obviously in pitch black.
Do you ever find it harder to come up with ideas or concepts when someone has kind of asked you to do something versus just kind of freeform having ideas on your own?
Oh no, I like the challenge. Like this I designed in like 2 hours on the iPad. I'm thinking of doing more, but around like biology, like more sculptures, because they do like different sculpture trails like all around the UK. So I've just done 2 for Jersey Zoo, which is based on Jersey Zoo's founder, Gerard Durrell, who basically is a massive conservationist. It's thanks to him that like zoos all around Europe changed their focus from being just like an attraction to actually wanting to, conserve species and save them from the brink. So I've done one of those for them. I did another one for them, which is called Space Ape. That also glows in the dark, but only it's got like stars on the back that glow. Whereas this is going to like fully glow. That's actually going to Weekender Festival next month. So we might try and get like some famous acts to sign it. So these get sold off for charity, you see. Yeah.
That's really cool. And I like that you talk a lot about integrating that science angle. Like it sounds like you're thinking a lot about like communication and
Yeah.
how you can really take art and get a message across with it. And actually, that's something that I would love to hear your thoughts on. Is just like I think a lot of people think of fine arts and they think, oh, well, you can't do science communication with fine art because it's just pretty. But it obviously seems like you're taking it beyond that and saying we can make messages.
Yeah, definitely. Like the whole reason of doing the STEM Bee last year was to get like a public art piece which like embodied all the facts about Manchester science in the most public place possible, which is at a train station, one of the main ones here. So that like you'd get millions of people coming across all of these scientific facts within like 2 months. Because it's literally that busy, that station. So, like, I don't know if you've seen many pictures of the STEM bee, but like basically the whole bee is covered in scientific facts, and it's all from like Manchester published papers.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And it also has like the signatures of 80 different scientists from around Manchester. So it also represents the scientific community here as well. Yeah.
That's really amazing. What do you say to people if they say like, well, that's just art, that doesn't help?
Well, it does help because I saw a lot of kids like getting dead excited around it, saying they wanted to be scientists. So I'd say look at that.
Right? For real.
Yeah.
I find it very interesting. I was just uh, it wasn't really a conversation. It was just kind of a comment somebody made yesterday on Twitter, and I was talking about storytelling, and they pretty much said that stories can't convey facts, and because they're fictional, and I was like, well, not all stories are fiction, and even fictional stories can convey facts. And I actually think that we engage people better when we use art and storytelling and any of these engaging, like you do game design type stuff.
Oh yeah, like the board games and stuff.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
tell us about some of the board games you've done?
Yeah.
Well, it's mainly card games. So the first one was with the University of Hull. So I'm actually I'm actually a master's student there now. But beforehand, I was
Congratulations.
approached by this flood researcher called Dr. Chris Skinner, who was quite interested in the concept of making like games that could also, serve as outreach tools. So I worked with them over a course of 4 months to develop a card game called Resilience, not Resistance, which is all about flood defence and flooding and climate change. And it's to explain to players how different flood defences work, which ones are like effective against what types of flooding, and how it's like a tricky balance between like councils and governments sorting these resources out and also trying to help the public as well understand, if you get what I'm saying. Like, 'cause there's a lot of politics as well within like sorting out all of these like flood defense stuff. So it's like, for example, sandbags don't really do anything, but we still bring them out and put them on the streets because it helps calm people down, and it's also good to show that the council's actually doing something while they set up the real flood defences, which are usually these big metal things, metal barriers, which take longer to deploy, but they're more effective.
And are you continuing working on that style of game for your master's work, or are you doing something else?
Yeah, so I'm actually using resilience as the basis of my master's dissertation. So I'm going to be collecting data on if it's an effective means of communication. There's been quite a few studies in the past for various games and stuff, but there's never, I'd say it's not been as in depth as I'd like it to be. So I'm going to take in quite a lot of data from different events and different age groups and stuff and see if I can prove that it does 100% work on teaching people about flood defence and climate issues.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
How is the process of working and communicating with the researcher to get to develop this game?
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I already know like quite a bit about like scientific subjects anyway. So like, just chatting to him, he just explains stuff to me. And then I look it up in my own time as well and try and understand the subject. And then we try and translate that into a card design and illustration design. And basically like do some very rough draft illustrations first. Send it over, and if he wants like some alterations to these illustrations before I do like the full-on, colour work on it, they'll send it back and be like, "Can you make this more clearer? Can this be altered so it distinguishes it a bit more for the player and stuff?" And then we just work on this collaborative process together until we have a finished piece. So, yeah.
So he gave input on like the design side as well?
Not really. Like, well, yes and no. So I was mainly like doing the designs and showing him. I'd be like, right, what do you prefer? And he'd be like, that one. Or maybe like change it a tinsy bit and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? So it's more like, do you like this or this sort of thing? Or do you want this made more clearer? Or do you want like this shown in a different way? And I think 2 cards, he actually sent like some images over to like show the difference between 2 different types of flooding. So I worked with him a bit more closely on those 2 to try and better interpret it on the card. But the layout and stuff was like mainly just free reign, and also the key image for the card game, that was just me, just coming up with it. So it's like this globe showing different continents, but each continent's like a different, like different geography, and it shows a bit of the climate change kicking in as well, and various types of flooding in that. And the whole idea is this game can be expanded as well to include other like environments. So it's not just like UK; it can be like expanded, so it shows it all around the world as well. So we want to do like special edition expansions for like various events like EGU and stuff, where you can get like special edition cards which add new gameplay to the game as well.
That's really nice. I mean, when I think card games, I always think expansions.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you built that with that in mind.
Yeah, I did it all on the iPad as well, which I'm quite surprised with. So that was like the first major project I did just using the iPad. Because beforehand, I'd do a little bit on the iPad and a little bit on like pen and paper, and then I'd rely on this laptop and Photoshop on this massive. I have this massive touch screen which I used to like draw on, but I just found that seemed to slow me down. So I was like, right, with this card game, why not just try using the iPad for pretty much everything? And now I just use the iPad because it can provide the same amount of tools in like an easier, condensed manner, if you get what I mean. Because with the iPad, you can take it anywhere and you can just lay in bed and you can just illustrate until the early hours. You don't have to be stuck to a desk. So I just find it made me more productive, and the outcome, because I was happier using it, the outcome came out better as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason, you use an iPad as well, right?
Yep, I'm using one right now. It's so handy. It's so convenient.
And yeah, I had the same issue where I actually was wanting to do more art. I don't have an iPad. I had a Samsung Galaxy Note tablet, 10-inch tablet. And I found that I was wanting to draw, but when I was using paper and then scanning it and inking and all of that,
Yeah.
I just didn't have the time or the place to do the actual
Mm.
traditional drawing. And so after I got the tablet, I was creating art all the time because it was there with me wherever I was. All the tools were there.
Mhm.
Made life so much easier.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I think if I didn't have the iPad, I just feel like some projects that I just did purely for fun, like the pushings and stuff, I wouldn't have done otherwise because it would have been too much effort just like setting up the pen display and getting this to work properly and stuff like that. I just find that you can be more spontaneous with the iPad because of its
Mm.
flexibility.
And I always say that I also like that you can go back to previous versions. You can,
Oh yes.
you can press the undo button. Those are like probably the most important features of digital drawing for me.
The undo button is my friend. So let's see. Um, I actually had a colleague who did something similar. She wasn't an artist, but she was the science liaison to I think they were making a board game about science. I think it was like about cell cycle. And she said that that was like the greatest experience she had in her it was her first job out of grad school, and it was something new and something um, exciting. And she still has the board game, and she has her son play it. Her son loves it. So yay for more science games.
There you go. We need more science games.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm thinking of developing my own versions of Flux. Have you ever played Flux?
No.
Well,
Mm.
it's just like this weird, like kind of broken card game you can buy from pretty much anywhere. And the game changes throughout depending on what cards you use and play. So like the rules constantly change. But there's different versions of Flux, so you can get ones based on maths and stuff.
Mm.
Me and my friend, who's like a math student, were just saying how we could make this even more complicated and include like algebra and stuff in it, and it'd be really funny to see how complicated we can make it. So I think I'll be doing that in the future, but I want to do some other versions of Flux as well, and I might try and contact the makers of Flux and see if they'll like give me the go ahead or even work with me to make it.
Mm.
That'll be amazing.
So I can do all the
Cool.
art on the iPad again.
Mm.
Because the cards in Flux, the designs are very simple, so it wouldn't take much time at all to make it.
I just finished up a commission. I was working with a game doctor, and we were commissioned by a group out of Cambridge to do a game, and I just did art, so I wasn't involved with the like the technical aspect or even the really game design that much. But doing the art was fantastic, and I've been wanting. I first got in touch with Carla from Game Doctor because I was just like really excited about making science games, and I was just talking about it on Twitter, and she was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm working on this," and yeah, it's fantastic, and I think that we kind of underestimate how much we can get across in games as far as just learning and all of that type of thing.
Oh yeah, there's a definite need for it because I mean I did like this interview with VGU like a month or so ago, and I was talking about the games that I've worked on, and now I just keep getting emails from like various like departments across the UK saying, can you work with us? Can you work with me to like make this game idea I've got a reality? So I've got two of those like in the pipeline, which is quite interesting.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I've also been asked to do a poster celebrating diversity in science, so diverse historical science figures. So I'll probably be doing that as well next year. I think that also came from that interview. So there's obviously a need for scientists and artists to work together to like better communicate stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just comes down to finding the funding.
Yeah, funding and also the right people, because sometimes you get someone who wants to work with you and it doesn't pan out because like they don't understand what you do, if
Mm.
you get what I'm saying, or they don't understand how demanding it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, it's weird. Or they expect you to do it for free, which is another amazing thing.
Yeah.
I had someone like earlier this year email me and he was like, I'm doing a science book. I was like, yeah. Can you do these artworks? And I was like, yeah, right. What's the commission price? And he's like, I thought you would do it for free. And I was like, I am not illustrating a whole book spread for free.
It's exposure.
Yes, that's what he said. He said, yeah, it's for exposure, and also I might
Oh.
do a Kickstarter later. And then if the Kickstarter is successful, I'll pay you. And I was like, no, you do Kickstarter first and then you pay me to do the illustration.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I talk about that a lot on my channel that art is very underappreciated and that there is way too much. I don't even know where people hear this exposure line. Like, where do non-artists hear it to then hear it? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me why anyone would think to not pay someone for their work.
There's like a whole like
They're like accounts from like artists and their interaction with their clients and how they talk about how
their clients try to lower the prices or haggle their way out of paying them.
Uh,
Oh god.
this is a whole nother topic for me. I can spend a long time talking about this.
This is why I have payment up front.
mm,
Yeah.
Like up front or half.
Do you do full payments up front?
Yeah. Unless it's like over a grand, then I'm like half and half. And it has to be like an institutional, someone I know I can trust that isn't going to run for the hills once they have like most of the, artwork. The only reason I do like big projects in the game half and half is, well, uh, it's a bit harder to do that.
I never do less than half
Yeah,
upfront. You just have to cover yourself.
yeah, I'll have a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have another episode all about contracts. So I'll have to have you come back with
Oh yeah, definitely.
because that's its own thing. I actually have just been several people have contacted me recently asking me about contracts and how I set mine up and like all of that. And I'm like, I've learned from other people. I am by no means an expert at creating contracts. I might be an expert at being taken advantage of by people
Oh.
realizing I needed contracts. But I just try and put the things that I see other people deal with in my contract. So far, that's okay. But we'll see.
oh man. I mean, this is actually. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's really interesting to listen to this because as a person who is not like who doesn't take um who's not paid for my artwork, I it's interesting to hear how what you guys go through. And like I think I probably take a lot of things for granted too. I'm like, oh, it's just art. No, you put a lot of time into that.
Well, what's also interesting with you, Tim, and I thought about this a lot when I was in academia, that I was creating things, my advisor just expected that to be free as if it was part of my work in the lab. When it's like, well, no one else is doing science work and being an artist, so why would you think that this should be free? Um, and I think that they just had never thought about that. Why would you think about paying someone who you're already paying, but to
Hmm.
do something else? But if it's outside the scope of what they're doing, you should pay them for it,
Exactly.
right? Like it just seems obvious to me.
Because you're passionate about this and you're willing to put everything into science. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think it's crazy, but but again, I can talk about that all day. We are almost out of time though.
Oh, really?
Right? We
Time
talked
flies.
for I know the hour always goes really fast, and I always feel like I didn't get anything done. Um, but I want to just quickly go through. I'm saving, of course, because I just had to hit that button. But I want to go through where we've gotten. So I'll start with saying I sort of got a little bit done. I mean, I think I got even less done than I did last time. But I had to finish up the outlines for the next section of my piece, and so it took me a while to get the, the inking and line quality the way I needed it. And then I just kind of filled in a lot of the background for a lot of the comics that I've done before, just to give it a little bit more movement.
Mhm.
And then this panel was actually a panel that I did before as like a tester panel, so it had been done since before I started the actual comic. And I'm gonna alter it a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to tie in the art above to this art. So I've been kind of working on seeing how to best tie those together. So that's all I got done. Um, Jan, you want to show us what you got done today?
Well, first of all, I feel like you got a lot more done than last art stream. It looks like you did. So,
That's a lie. It's a total
yeah.
lie. This is what I got done today.
Okay. But I just started mapping out just ideas. I had it sectioned out where I worked on the introduction, tried to get my ideas about the introduction, drew out my hypothesis, and then I'm currently working on the aims of this whole project. I got through I got through one aim and trying to work on another aim. But yeah, this was like a challenge for me because I was trying to not write a lot
Mm-hmm.
and tried to illustrate what I wanted to get down. Because 1,000 words, one picture, that saying.
Yes. We
Uh,
should do a challenge like that where we both get an abstract or something
mhm.
and we try to draw it separately and see what we come up with.
I think that would be great.
But we can't get many words. Like we have a limit of like a certain number of words or something.
Yep.
But I'm getting excited about this challenge recently
You should do
because live challenges are both stressful but also fun.
that.
So Kelly, show us what you got done. It looks like you got a lot of this like light area done.
Yeah, it's like a white silhouette of the city, but it's going to take quite a few coats, and I'm going to have to go over it with like Posca pens. So I'm going to go in and add all the detailed line art on top. And I'll have to do the other side as well, and then I'll glow in the dark. So I think I'll have the skyline glow in the dark as well, which would be pretty cool. With some stars all over here. Probably make the portraits and stuff glow in the dark as well, so you can still see them that night. And then it's basically just spraying the gloss over it so it's ready to go. So that all these elements are like protected and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned about like prompts and stuff a few minutes ago. Like, because like at the beginning of like the year, what I was doing was I was taking like articles from Nature, like Nature magazine. And what I did is I try illustrating it to try and communicate science. So I might start doing that again. but using the iPad. Because at the start, I was using gouache paint and watercolor
Oh
paint.
wow.
It was just too awkward. I mean, I did a few good pieces in the sketchbook with it, but it was just really, really awkward, especially if you only have like a little bit of time to get this done.
Yeah.
Drawing time was a nightmare.
Yeah, and if you think of any cool challenges like that, we've been just kind of brainstorming some challenges to do. Feel free to let us know. We will schedule another live stream with you and we can try out some challenges. I think that would be fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd love to do that. I think that'd be really fun.
Awesome. So I want to say thank you to all anyone who's watching this either live or if you're watching a replay. Don't forget that you can find out all the details about upcoming SciART live streams over at diasjaugustus.com/SciART-livestream. That link will be in the show notes below this YouTube video, which will go up as soon as I learn how to transfer from live to YouTube. I think it should be rather easy, but I'm going to knock on wood because I just said this.
Oh, that's great.
So anyway, thank you again so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.